Hello, my name is Benjamin, but you may call me Jam. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Exercises in Blue, Magic the Gathering video series where we take the idea of a mono blue commander and see how many different ways we can redesign it. Inspired by the French short story collection Exercices de Style, written by Raymond Queneau, in which the author takes a simple page-and-a-half long anecdote and then retells that tale 99 times, here in 2026 we will attempt to reach 99 different variations of that same mono blue commander deck before getting burnt out, distracted, or simply losing interest. Because you can never tell when the bug of apathy will sink its merciless stinger into you when you're not ready for it. Now I'm recording this at the tail end of March, making tomorrow the 1st of April. A day of merriment, trickery, subterfuge. A day where the nationwide pastime from sunup to sundown is non-stop ruses, shenanigans, bamboozlings, generally making a mockery of one attempts at understanding actual reality. I don't know about other people, but here on Turtle Island, we get a little bit too much of that on the daily anyways. How many times have we glanced at a social media post or some news article and I had to ask myself, am I being provoked by a trollish hater? Am I getting hoodwinked by a media news outlet that's in the clutches of some extremely mercilessly wealthy man? Is this even generated by an actual human, or was it just spat out by someone who wanted something artistic to exist and they wanted it now? No, we're not giving in to the shallowness and laziness of simply fooling people here on the delicious, cool, chilly first day of April. No, instead, we are providing 2 mono blue Magic the Gathering commander decks, just as advertised. Our first mono blue commander is going to be Jaws, Relentless Predator, an absolutely classic mono blue card. I mean, come on. It's a shark, a sea creature. You're not going to find this up in the mountains. You're not going to find it flopping around in the forests or prowling the plains. This isn't a shallow, swampy kind of creature. We are in the oceans with this guy, you know? Let's get into the deets. 3 colorless mana, 2 colored mana, got a 5/5 hasty trampler. When they get combative with a player, you make that many blood tokens. These are artifact tokens. Blue loves artifacts, always has. And what do? Pay and sack to discard a card and draw a card. Kind of like looting, don't you think? The ways of the merfolk? Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's very mono blue. What else? When non-creature artifacts bite the dust, Jaws hits each opponent for 1 damage. A little bit of pinging, as it were. Mono Blue's been pinging since day 1. Wait, what was the first printing of Tim? They were called Tims back then, because at the time people were still watching Monty Python content. Here we go. Limited edition Alpha, number 73. Ooh. 73. Hey, that's an important number. It reminds me of someone special. Oh gosh, that's something. Who's 73? We'll get to it later. So yeah, Jaws, or Bruce as they were nicknamed during the film's production. Bruce is trying to profitably damage our opponents as quick as can be. They're trying to ping people left, right, and center, sacrificing all sorts of artifacts. It's an aggressive strategy, but we're not trying to overthink things here. Here on the 1er of April, nah, not at all. We're just going to focus on a bunch of classic things that mono blue is all about. Stuff that blue loves to do, you know it, you love it, I love it, Vnwxt loves it. We're drawing cards. We can do it at sorcery speed, we could do it at instant speed, do it and get some extra mana. It's kind of like Frantic Search, sort of, or Gush, a little bit, kind of. What else? wheels. Blue's got wheels. You know I love Whirlpool Rider. You know I love Credit Voucher. Classic blue card draw strategy. But people also go, oh, blue, it's counterspells. It's the counterspell color. So we've got some here. Not too many, just enough to keep people on their toes. You can also give our creatures the ward mechanic, which, you know, technically, actually, it counters spells also, if the bribery cost doesn't get paid. It's like Mana Leak, basically. It's like all my creatures got Force Spike, but they gotta pay through the veins instead of the lands. So we're keeping it blue. However, if you recall the attitude I was advocating for in the other Exercises in Blue video, you'd know that not all counterspells have to be hard denial. Jaws, you know, seems vicious, seems assertive, but Jaws can be jovial. Jaws can be a merry prankster. Oh, you were going to hit Bruce with removal? No sir, no ma'am, no governor. You thought you were going to D the blade that Bruce was biting on, that weapon in Jaws' jaws? Nah, move it over there, move it over here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and copy that and also redirect your thing. You can also switch the target of Bruce's chomping. If they're taking a bite out of your face, now they're taking a bite out of everyone's face. It's a psych out. It's tricky. Another classic blue ability, bouncing. Just bouncing stuff all over the place. We got Bouncing Buddy, we got the Bounce House over here, Bouncy Wall. Got some split action with a split card kind of action over here. We could deal 2 damage to target creature, but we're not damaging creatures here. We don't win in mono blue. We don't win by damaging creatures. We win by damaging opponents with our legendary mono blue Shark Commander. So if somebody's holding up a blocker, you just go, Bruce says bye-bye. And bam, more artifact tokens. It's more blood in the water right there. You know, I was thinking about using a song by the David Matthews Band for the needle drop. It was probably for the best. Also, we've got some bounce things where the bounce thing goes away, but a new thing takes its place, but it's kind of random. You know, a little bit of polymorph. Perhaps a bit of a deep cut, but you know, we're not limiting ourselves to the mono blue classics. You know, we get the B-sides sometimes. We're all inclusive here. But we are absolutely hitting other mono blue classics. Other classic mono blue tropes. One of my personal favorites, copying. Clones, spell duplication, so many versatile ways to play with multiplicity. Here's Bruce, here's bonus Bruce. Here's a barrage of duplicate Bruces. I'm a big fan of that. Now when it comes to artifact synergies, you didn't think we would stop with just the blood tokens, did you? You thought that was the end of my trinkets? Blue and artifacts go way the hell back. Yeah, they're like this. So we have lots of ways to profit off of artifacts with our mono blue, fully submerged in water commander creature of legend. Next up, a little bit controversial, a little bit of crossing people's boundaries, messing with people's steez. Blue, famously, is about control magic. Not just in the thematic, abstract, drop-down menu on Moxfield kind of way. No. I mean literal control magic. As in, I see you've brought your personal magic cards to the table. I'm going to reach over like Yubaba, cackling like, and it belongs to me now. Not too many of these cards. There's only 6, but we're going to find them. We're going to get to them. We're drawing a lot of cards, of course. This is mono blue, after all. Is that all? Copying spells or countering spells? Gotta be something else before I run out of time in this silly video. Oh, right. The turn. Time control magic. Very funny stuff. Blue loves to take extra turns, and increasingly, over the history of Magic, Blue likes to end the turn abruptly. So we tossed a couple of those in there. Gotta represent the chronomancy in mono blue. I have a couple of lands. Those are helpful. I know usually for Vnwxt decks we do 34. I went 36 this time. We don't have as many 1/1s for 1 in this version of the mono blue deck. It's really more about letting the commander do their thing. Definitely important to have basic lands. For a mono blue commander who is a shark, who lives underwater, who inhabits the oceans and the seas, a marine environment, lots of space that supports their ability to swim. So for the basic lands, we're going with a place that's around an island, near an island, including a volcanic island. So I ultimately settled on the most volcanic island looking place for Bruce. Because obviously Bruce is very hot, very exciting, very spicy. You know, keeps the blood pressure high, keeps the tempo rolling. This is the one basic land that lets us cast our commander while it's still completely and entirely underwater. We're trying to provide total submersion in a liquid-based ecosystem. It's very on theme for Mono Blue, very on theme for Jaws. So yeah, shout out to the SpongeBob SquarePants secret lair drop thing for making that possible. And now, this way, we can summon Jaws as a summoned creature. It does not have summoning sickness, because this one is very hasty, very trampling, very mighty, very damage-dealing, very shrapnel-spewing, mono blue aquatic commander creature. Oh, yeah, I gotta do a second one. What's another thing that Mono Blue does really well? You know, one thing that Blue does really well is take game actions on other people's turns. So many opportunities to play my cards. So for this next deck, we're going with a commander, who is Mono Blue, of course, all about casting spells on other people's turns. We've got Yeva, Nature's Herald. 2 generic mana, 2 specific mana. They have Flash, and they're going to give everything else, almost everything else in your deck, Flash as well. So we're doing huge creatures at instant speed, which is awesome. I need a needle drop that references gigantic life forms and things that traverse long distances in short intervals. Cool, let's break down the deck. 34 lands, just like what we've done in the past with Vnwxt. Almost the exact same setup as the Improv deck and the Introvert deck from the previous video. Yeah, not much has changed off. Start off, we've got 15 cards that are basically going to perform the same function as the 1/1 flyers would do for Vnwxt, which is to get to max speed as fast as possible. I feel like for Yeva, these are going to be how they're going to get her to max speed. Playing as fast as we can, drawing as fast as we can, and as freely as we can. Because one of the natures of speed is not only are you going forward, but you're also hugging the curves, you're changing lanes. In this case, you're playing things on multiple people's turns, other than just yourself. Probably everybody. Especially if you've got the patron here. Now, every turn, you're just firing off lots of cool things, like that. You're not limited to just doing things on your turn with Yeva. You really want to make the most out of each lane on the freeway while you're flooring it. That's sort of the limitless power of a mono blue deck like this. Now, of course, it wouldn't be mono blue without card draw. We've got loads of card draw, steady card draw, burst card draw, all the options all the time, because Yeva's going to be zorping out, zipping out, quipping out, really, really swift. We've got some curiosity effects as well, classic ability for mono blue. We're not merely attacking with creatures, we are profiting from it, getting that card draw, as blue can be. Now, ordinarily, we would be rocking a lot of counter spells, and we do have some literal counter spells here. Definitely, these are cards where it says counter right there on the card. Either we're countering when we play the card, or we're countering whenever we have other cards that we're playing. We're very abundant about it. That's the tricky thing in a 4-player game, is deciding when do I counter something? Do I drop it early on? Do I save it for later? What if I run out of counter cards? Maybe with cards like these, you don't need to pick. You don't need to limit your options. You're countering on everybody's turn, all the time, no matter what. That's where the efficiency is. That's where the power level is. Let the rest of the table know you're not afraid to counter at a moment's notice. But beyond general countering, we'll have a few cards that feel very specific, to the iconic mono blue cards that are out there. We basically got Resculpt, basically got Imprisoned in the Moon, Slip Out the Back, sure. However, because Yeva's whole thing is inviting party guests as a response to a spell that is in mid-cast, we essentially have creatures who can double as virtual counterspells. So your creatures will be like, this is a 3/3 Intervene. This is a 7/6 Negate. This is a 9/9 Swan Song. This is a 10/10 Remove Soul, basically. And the best part is that because we're letting our opponents cast the spell, letting the spell resolve, letting them get that enter the battlefield ability, but we're still nullifying the card after that, nobody's going to hate us for being mono blue. We're doing almost the exact same thing as other blue spells, but will be perceived in a totally separate, totally unequal way, which will feel a little bit like racism, but as long as our opponents have been raised in a society with limited cultural understanding and not a whole lot of compassion and almost no critical thinking, we're definitely coming out ahead in this scenario. It'll be a win for us, for sure. Also, one last element, countering other counterspells. This is my 1/1 Mystical Dispute. This is my 3/2 Mystical Dispute. You get the idea. So how are we paying for everything? This is mono blue, of course, so we're probably pulling up the function with a satchel full of mana rocks, right? Of course. Basically, this is mana from rocks. Not like, here's a rock, there's a rock, everywhere a rock. It's more like our planet, Mother Gaia, she's one big rock, quintessentially. So we're getting mana from her, from the ground itself. One big mana rock. We do also have some land dorks, though. Those go over really well with Vnwxt. They're going to go over just as well here. Just fun ways, really fun ways of just getting lands in play. Nice and quick and easy. This is going to make it possible for us to cast all of those blue spells, all that blue card draw and the blue counter spells, the ones that are built into the bodies of our big, beefy, mono blue creatures. Now, it wouldn't be an installment of Exercises in Blue if we didn't have specific callbacks to previous card choices. I know I mentioned Vizini in the last video. We've got Vizini in this mono blue deck as well. We're getting discounts as well as payoffs for other cards, which is what Vizini is all about. I know that in one of the decks we had Omniscience, to let us essentially play all of our cards for free. And we've got a different version of that here, another sort of femme-presenting person, the center of the art of the card. It's basically Omniscience. Costs a little bit less, doesn't literally make casting free, but since we're slinging spells on everyone else's turn, untapping all of our permanents, that makes spellcasting free from consequences, free from commitment and investment to a singular play. Really, free from strategy. We don't need to think about it. We just need to chuck everything out there, lightning fast, all the time. Finally, our last video had a reference to Jurassic Park with Chaotic Chaotician. It didn't seem like a perfect fit for Yeva, so I swapped it for a different Jurassic Park reference. Man, it's really, really fun getting creative with these cards, especially the monocolor cards, because you want to encourage people to get imaginative, really play and experiment with all the different possible options. There's thousands and thousands of Magic cards out there now, so there's always new ways to keep things fresh and change things up. Links to both decks will live down in the description of the video. If you have any suggestions for improving these decks, I invite you to make mention of them in the comments. I'll be going back to more conventional mono blue decks moving forward. I don't know if we'll be doing other mono blue decks like these two mono blue decks in the future. Possibly, probably not. But, I am open to persuasion, especially when it comes to the warm enthusiasm of others. Yeah. This brings us to the end of this installment of Exercises in Blue. You may still call me Jam, and for those of you who are watching and or listening, I thank you for your time and attention. Oh, right. How does Yeva's deck win? Quick history lesson. In case you didn't know, a classic piece of colloquial terminology that was used in the Magic the Gathering community would be either end of turn good game or end of turn fact or fiction good game. The acronym being EOT, FOF, GG. This really captured the essence of blue magic interrupting your turn to win the game, basically out of nowhere. The version that we're using in Yeva's mono blue deck will be EOT SB GG. Works pretty much the same way. I actually think this version is superior, mostly because of the rhyming quality. EOT SB GG. It's just got a nice ring to it. And I know that if this were a mono green deck, people will be like, hey, where's Craterhoof? You know, the spell that everyone casts on their turn right before swinging with all of their creatures. But baby, it's not mono green. It's mono blue. We're not casting spells on our turn. We're dropping the finisher on someone else's time. Dolly Parton approved.